I'm Dani, and welcome to Good Intentions, Bad Decisions, Love Letters to My Younger Self. And today we have Marsha B with us, a journalist and content creator. I'm so excited to have you, Marsha.
I'm so happy to be here.
Especially for this topic because you embody like all things self-care,
Yes.
wellness, choosing me, prioritizing me. And we're talking to the girls and the young women out there about societal pressures and what it does to our mental health.
Right.
That's what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Because I don't know, growing up for me, there wasn't like a soft life thing. Did you hear about that?
No, that didn't exist.
Right. Like if I
Yeah.
knew about that, I would have aimed for a soft life.
Yeah.
Like long ago.
It would be, you would have to watch your mom do it for you to realize that that's what was
That's the
happening.
thing.
My
And-
mom's idea of soft life was, I don't know, maybe going to a party on the weekend, but that was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like the peace of mind.
Yeah, that was her escape.
Yeah, I didn't see that at
Yeah.
all. So you're right. It's based on what we see. So tell me this. This is what I want to talk to you about. Growing up, you mentioned what we see, how we're raised. Culturally and in terms of society, how did that affect your decision making when it came to like choosing your life path? I know for me, I grew up in a culture where like survival was it.
Right.
Like life was based on surviving. So I just, planned my life around I need to do something to make sure I stay afloat.
Right.
How was that for you? Like what kind of pressure did society and culture put on you?
So I would say definitely culturally, my mom is from Guyana. And I know a lot of Caribbean people and African people relate to this, their parents saying like, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. And for my mom, it was, you have to be a teacher. I wanted to go into fashion. I wanted to go to FIT. And she was like, fashion does not pay the bills. Become a teacher. So I ended up getting a bachelor's in television and radio because for me, that was like the closest that I can get to fashion.
Right.
And I often think like what my world would be like if I had pursued fashion in college instead of getting a journalism degree, because I didn't end up using that degree till years later. I was in human services field, not making a lot of money, but, giving back to the community that way. But I really wish that I had the opportunity to just explore what I wanted to do. And I couldn't because my mom just did not think that that would have been a beneficial route for me.
So she was okay with the journalism because you didn't go the teaching route, right?
I didn't. But she was okay with that because to her that just made more sense. To her, writing and broadcast journalism, there was longevity in that, security in that. And so that was good enough for her. And then I didn't even work in the field till much later. So she was very much, to your point, she was brought up to survive, pay bills, and that's what she poured into me. You need to be able to find a career that's stable enough to pay your bills and sustain, your rent, your bills, healthcare, all that stuff.
Was it a single parent household?
It was.
So that was your blueprint
right.
for you, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like with me, like I said, growing up in like survival, I grew up in the projects, one of the worst projects in Harlem. And just looking around, for me, it was like, what is better than this?
Right.
Like, what can keep me from falling into this cycle? And in school back then, and it's one of the reasons I later changed my career and became a school counselor, because back then you would see the counselor or even your teachers, whatever educators were in the building, and they had like the same advice on career paths. They never really said to be a teacher, I guess because they hated their job. But they never said that. But they were just like, you can be a nurse or,
right.
Go a lawyer. You like to argue, be a lawyer. And that was, I remember being in high school, and because I was always debating and going back and forth, they're like, oh, you should be a lawyer. And I was like fixated on Johnny Cochran and the entertainment law field. And I'm like, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. But I had no clue there were like other careers that existed and were attainable. Like I knew about Oprah and being on television.
Right.
Like I loved that, just like you, journalism. And I'm like, what are the odds? Like how am I going to get in that field? I'm not even going to think about it. So I went with like the basic advice that they were giving us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so upset. Like when I learned about being able to drink wine for a living with some sommelier,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why no one told me this when I was like 10,
Right.
11, 12, you know, something. Granted, back then I didn't think I would grow up drinking wine.
Yeah.
But at one time I was a big wine drinker and I knew so much about,
Right.
like I could taste the wine and I would know which type it was without the education. I'm
Right.
like, had I known that I could do this as
For
a
a
career,
living?
that I love architecture. Why wasn't there anyone talking about me being like a historian or, you know, traveling and learning about different architectures and doing tours and teaching
Right.
people that history? Like this wasn't the educational advice we were getting. So I
Yeah.
just went the, you know, the standard societal norm route.
Yeah.
And I think if I could do it all over, I would have did something completely different.
I think the thing that most people didn't say back then that we're starting to say now is you can literally be whatever you want to be.
Okay.
There are people who are making up careers in banking because there's a need.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is find your community. And the only way that you can do that is to show up authentically.
Yeah.
You be yourself and you will attract exactly what you're supposed to attract. You will attract the people who say, oh, that makes sense. I need that, you know, but you can't do that by pretending to be someone else or following a path that really isn't yours.
It's not for you. Yeah. We only knew what we knew.
Right. Exactly.
Tell me, so in terms of relationships and just society, it's different now because we have social media.
Right.
And we have social media goals. And, you know, like now there's standards set 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
the conversations that never end these days. But back when we were like growing up, the pressure, the societal pressure, and even cultural pressure for many of us for a girl, a young woman, to have like this timeline.
Oh,
And what your relationship and your commitment life should look like, that pressure, and by what age, like what did that do to you? Because for me,
so the timeline is something that at the ripe age of 41, I have finally thrown away. It just does not exist in my world. I am 41. I have no kids. Do I want kids? Yeah, I have maternal instincts, but I'm also not going to put unnecessary pressure on myself to do something just because of my age. Right. Will I regret this later on in life? I don't know. But I think that I've redefined what motherhood looks like. And so I can still experience my maternal instincts through my nieces, you know, as an auntie, to my godchildren, adoption, that's, you know, an option. But I start there because I had to get here. When I was younger, I'm a lesbian for one.
Okay.
And so with that in my 20s, I always had my mom and her friends, they would come around, they'd be like, you know, Marsha's so pretty, where's her boyfriend? And she was too ashamed to say she's gay.
Oh, she knew.
She knew, okay. Yeah. And so when she finally, like by the last time that someone asked me, I said, if you don't stop this, I'm going to say I'm gay and, you know, I'm single. And so people stopped asking me, but I realized that there was an expectation for me to get married and have children. Throughout my 30s, I was in a 7-year relationship that ended at 34, turning 35. And I had that expectation of I'm going to get married and have kids. And that didn't happen.
Right.
I spent 2019 trying to have kids on my own. And I had 4 failed pregnancy attempts.
Was this desire to have kids in 2019, was that coming from you or from external?
No, it was coming from me. I realized at 33, my clock was on fire inside of me. So I knew that this was what I wanted. And parts of me, after 2019, when I did not become pregnant, I said to myself, you're single. You don't want to do this while you're single. just chill. I thought I had time. Like, I'm 35, I have time. And I dated and I dated and I dated. And through those dating experiences, I realized, like, I can't force this.
Yeah.
Because the end result could be me having children with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Marrying the wrong person.
Oh my goodness.
And spending time trying to clean that up after the fact because I was forcing something that wasn't meant to happen. And so for me to finally get to a place where there's no pressure.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. I love that for me because 41 is still very young.
Yeah.
And people think that it's the end of the road. And it really
so many
is
people
not.
Because of societal pressure.
Right. I feel like my life is now beginning at 40.
So many opportunities, right?
Yeah. So many opportunities to reinvent myself, to like become whatever I want to become.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking more advantage of that and believing in alignment instead of, the idea that, oh my God, you're 41, you don't have kids, you're single. Like, there's worse things in the
alignment.
world.
I have not even heard that word until 2018-ish. Like, we knew it was a word, but I didn't hear it be so prevalent in our just realm. And so, and we started using it. Like, Convo's slogan is alignment is the assignment. Had someone told me at maybe 14, because you got to start earlier. So you can't be waiting until 16, 17, 18. No, the damage is done. But seek alignment. So what you said, the part about you didn't want to feel pressured and end up choosing wrong, that is my journey.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm having conversations like this, because I did feel the pressure. And it wasn't culturally, but again, societal wise, I felt it. I felt what they would say about what girls and women need to do by a certain age and how you would be looked at if you didn't. And then you have your immediate circles. And at the time when I was younger, like, we had family that was taking me to church, and extended family. Like, church was a thing. Religion was a thing.
Yeah.
And they were talking marriage, and they were talking kids, and they were talking marriage before kids. So now I'm panicking. I'm like, I gotta find somebody. I gotta do something. Oh my goodness. In a few years, I'm gonna be 20 something. Mind you, like, this is when I should be
20 something.
Right. 20 something. I should be thinking about living my best life. And I'm sitting here planning like a family. And so I'm dating, and I'm dating. You hear about how you meet your lifelong partner in college. I'm in college, and I'm like scouting, like, who could be a husband? Who could be, it's just crazy to me. And I'm like, when I think back on it now, so I tell young girls now, I'm like, live your life, like, get your education, travel, experience things, figure out what career you want to do. Like, all of that will come in due time the way it's supposed to come. But at the time, with societal pressure, I'm like, okay, you find your husband in college. Which one of these guys is my husband? And here I go, bouncing, dating, making bad decisions with good intention. I had good intention, but the decisions were so terrible.
Yeah.
And some of them resulted in, like you said, picking the wrong person to have children with.
Right.
I wasn't thinking
you can't undo that.
You cannot.
That is an 18-year
That's
commitment.
a life sentence.
Yes.
It's a life sentence.
It's a life sentence, but 18 years of you being like hands-on with a person that you no longer share that bonds with.
Yeah.
That's scary. I watched my mom do it.
Very.
And I think that pressure, there's such a pressure for women, but not for men. There's so many expectations for women. You have to dress modestly. You have to, be the mom, be the wife,
the nurturer,
even when you're just the girlfriend. While you're hoping and begging for a ring and a commitment from.
Because if you don't show wifey skills, then you're not wifey material.
Child, listen, I'm not. That's not my story. That's not my lane.
Great.
You take me as I am. I don't cook. Don't expect that from me.
Tell it.
Okay. Don't expect anything from me other than for me to show up as who I am and love you. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I love that. Luckily, a lot more men know how to cook these days, and partners in general.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think you should have an expectation for someone that you don't have for yourself. Like, let's start it there, just like, period. But that, what you said, if I could just go back and tell younger me, which I can now, because younger me is the young girls today and the young women, like, don't submit to the pressure. Like, don't, because you will end up making, and I did it I did it again and again. Like, one thing about me, I don't make the same bad decision. I make a new bad decision. Like, I noticed that about myself. Like, I will not have a second kid by the same person who did bad the first time. Like, I knew better not to do that. But then I would end up in the same cycle of making a similar poor decision.
Yeah.
Because of this pressure. Like, now I'm turning 30 and it's like, oh, you're not married by 30, or choose this guy.
Right.
Then you get with this guy and then you have a baby and you thought that you could be with him. You thought you could get married. Now, again, here we go with this broken family.
But here's the thing, right? Making bad decisions is not necessarily a bad thing. And I feel like people, I wish I could have changed this. I wish I could have changed that. And it's okay to have regrets, but ultimately that's how you learn. You learn your limits. You learn about yourself, what boundaries you need by these bad decisions that you make, right? If you did everything the right way, you would not learn a thing.
I posted that recently. I said, if we were meant to make all good decisions and choices, it wouldn't be a thing as resilience. Like, where would resilience come from if we made no mistakes? I literally posted that in my story. And I'm glad you said that, because a part of that pressure not only came from society and culturally, but then you have like friend groups. And like with me, I didn't get it right the first time. Now I'm being judged. So I'm in a panic to try my best. And mind you, I'm not getting the tools that I need to, look within and a sisterhood support of what can we do? What spaces can we put you in at the time until I got a little bit older? And it's just, you're being ridiculed and criticized. And now you're doubling back and trying to pressure yourself to get it right. And you're getting it wrong again. So even the people around you have some kind of influence.
Right.
When it comes to that decision making.
I think you have to always be in it and doing it for yourself.
Right.
Because people are going to talk regardless. And if I based all of my life decisions on my friends and family, I would be so unhappy. And so my friend group in particular, lots of them, probably most of them, are married with children. I am single and I have no kids. And I can do whatever I want, and my life looks differently.
That's the best.
I love it, but it looks differently, and the understanding is different. The grace has to be different. All of it has to be different, because we live two completely different lifestyles. So my mistakes aren't going to make sense to you.
Oh, that part. Yeah. I love that you said that. I wish that I was able to articulate that. And I'm glad that you pointed out, because girls and young women do need to hear this. We're not going to have a picture perfect, free of mistakes, free of lessons. That's not a thing.
Right.
It's going to be sometimes you don't want to have too many lessons, and too many pitfalls. But those mistakes that I made, there was a point, even sometimes now, where there's a lot of regret.
Right.
There was more regret before, until I came to terms with what those mistakes taught me, the lessons that they taught me. I wouldn't be able to sit here and speak to girls and young women about certain things had I not had those experiences.
Right.
Because you said, my mistakes, you haven't even walked that life, so you wouldn't understand.
Right.
Whereas you can get someone like me and, no, I didn't get it right the first time and find a husband and have this wonderful house and children. I didn't. But I have some things that I could talk to you about that could probably help you get it right the first time. And I'm in a position to do that. So I've grown to be grateful for those mistakes and lessons.
And not only that, the stories don't have to be the same. Not everybody's going to follow that same script of we got married at 25 and had 3 kids by 30 and bought the house and the picket fence. That can still happen. But if it happens for me at 50, I'm fine. The idea that you need to get all of this done by a certain age, time is what we made up.
Yeah.
It's endless. It's going to continue after I move on from this earth. It's going to continue.
Correct.
Right? And so you have ample amount of time in this lifetime to just complete things that you want to. And having this expectation of doing it all by a certain age is very unrealistic. You have to factor in community, surroundings. What's your current work situation?
Yeah.
Can you afford the things that you
All
want?
of
Are
that.
you in the right place at the right time to meet that right person? Are you making that person you're with the right person just so you can get it?
That, oh my goodness. And then can you imagine, which is how this connects to mental health? Like, can you imagine what all of this pressure is doing to our mental health and what you said, like forcing a situation, trying
Right.
to make that. I honestly and truly, which what makes me appreciate my journey even more, like, yeah, I didn't get it right. Many times I didn't get it right. But it led me to a place where I finally
Right.
appreciated when I got it right. And I think back and I'm like, what if I did find someone and they were halfway decent and I just forced myself onto them and forced that lifestyle. And now here I am 10 years into a marriage that I'm not even really happy
Right.
with.
Right.
So I'm glad I did it the way I did it.
I'm glad I did not get pregnant in 2019. As hard as I was trying, I cannot imagine my life right now with a kid. I can't imagine it.
It's a lot.
Oh
It's a
my
lot.
goodness.
In this economy right now.
I could not imagine it. So I think everything, as much as you can plan, they happen the way they're supposed to.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's about the journey. It's about what you learn along the way. No matter how many mistakes you make, what did you learn and how are you applying it and how are you using it?
I love that. I love that so much. We touched on, like I mentioned, friendships and how it also influenced our decision making. For you, how did your circles kind of impact like how you chose your life path, like what you wanted to do with your life?
So early on, I like when I finally stepped into the fashion scene as like a blogger. I started my own blog. It was called Marsha Bar's Closet, and it started because this my dear friend, her name is Janelle. She came to me and she was like, there's something about you, and you need a platform. And I was like, girl, what you talking about? And at this point, I don't think I've met her yet. It was just an internet friend. And she built my website and she said, you're going to start blogging. And I used to do like, fashion stuff. This is what I wore. Here's where you can get it, stuff like that. And I was really into it. And it was so refreshing to have someone who never physically met me see me. But then I had a group of friends who I would hang out with all the time. And they just, my blogging triggered them for some reason. I don't know why. Not my business.
Did they feel like you were talking about them, like some topics? Oh, okay.
I think when you have a light, it triggers people, and that's not my responsibility to figure out why you're triggered by my light.
Ooh,
It's
I
not.
like
That's
that.
for you
Ooh.
to go sit in the corner
That's
and
none
look
of your
inward.
business, right?
Right. Ain't my business. But whatever I was doing, it triggered them, and they weren't supportive. They were even like making fun of me online and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
gosh.
that really changed my perspective of friendships. Now I'm surrounded by people who uplift me, who empower me, who
Pour into you.
pour into me, which is a polar opposite from when I first started. And people just didn't get it. They didn't understand. I mean, we're talking 2012, 2013, where the influencer wasn't really a huge thing. It was a new market. Blogging was in its prime. People were going online and pouring their hearts out on the blog, and they were able to monetize off of it. And it was very new. So people were looking at me like, what is she doing?
You know what's so crazy about that? So I'm very, again, I probably should have went into journalism because I'm big on sharing in that way. Like when Facebook came out, I remember it said, what's on your mind? That's what it used to say. Like, so I always remember that about Facebook when it first came out, and it's like it asks you what's on your mind, and you're supposed to just, write whatever's on your mind, and that's how I use the platform. That's how I've always used the platform. I've always been very vulnerable and open. And you really have to be careful, like you said, about your circles and your friendships and what you kind of intake from what their opinions or even the way they're behaving towards you. Because I would have people like, oh, why did you say that? Oh, you share too much. That's too much. You show too much. Be a little more private. Don't do that. Don't say that. And what I noticed was that my openness and vulnerability was giving me opportunities. Like people were noticing me and putting me in spaces because they familiarized with whatever I was talking about, or they wanted to know more. They thought I was a good fit for a certain opportunity based on what they saw me speak on. But at the same time, I'm like, what if I listen to people who just didn't get it? Like family and friends that's like, oh, don't say that, don't do that, don't write that, don't do this. And I listened to them and I would have lost out on, opportunity. I remember moving when me and Zay moved together, and I'm big on content and purpose, not just content just to be posted, but purpose behind the content. And us being long-term friends and moving in for the first time together and moving into this huge house, it was just, and at the time Bridgerton was out and it was big, and with the storyline of the two friends now getting in a relationship, it just hit at the moment. Everything was aligned. So I made a post, and I remember like it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. It felt like bragging to them, and
that's projection.
Yeah, it was. I was really like thrown back because I'm like, that wasn't the purpose. The purpose was more so inspiration. Like, look at what we were able to do. Who would have thought? Either of us, like this was all just, it lined up so perfectly, our lives. Like it was unexpected, everything down to the house. So I'm sharing this with you all to let you know, kind of like we said, like don't pressure or force anything, because look what happened when we didn't force. That was my purpose behind it. And plus to connect it to Bridgerton. Like I was so excited. And to hear that people kind of were like, oh, you shouldn't, that's too much, and this is why people don't like you, and blah. And I was just
that's a lot of projection, for one. And for two, like I hope you never internalize anyone's reaction to you. Like I said earlier, your only job is to show up and be yourself. And people are going to react to that, and that's about them. It's 100% about them, nothing to do with you. I feel like that is so important when you're dealing with social media, because social media is an influx of people's opinions, unsolicited.
I got an episode on that.
It's unsolicited commentary coming from people who are hurt, hiding behind the internet, people who just get enjoyment out of saying bad things. I'm fortunate that I live in a bubble. I live in a bubble where everyone loves Marsha. Because why would I live in a bubble where everyone hates Marsha?
You gotta get those people out.
Yeah. So your orbit should be people that love you. But then you gotta remember, when you decide that you want to be a content creator or you want to put your life out there, the bubble gets bigger. And that's where all the other people come in.
It does.
And you gotta, I'm still working on this, but learning how to just, that's not about me. That's their story. I just triggered something. I'm going to trigger lots of people just by being myself.
And it's no way to avoid it. No. Really. No. To be honest. Like,
and the goal should never be to be liked by everyone anyway.
I'm now embracing that. Like at 41 going on 42, I finally like am in a place where I just don't care anymore. Before I was so like, fixated on how someone felt and why do they feel like that and why do you think this of me. Now it's like, I don't care. Like, forget it. That's what you think. Write a book.
You don't determine my worth.
That's it.
I don't care what you say. You have no control over how I feel about myself. And the love that I have for myself is so, it's not arrogance, but even if it were, I feel like that's just, it's me.
Yeah.
Why should I feel anything else about who I am?
And why do you have to like curate how you love yourself? Don't love yourself too much.
Child, I love myself out loud. Not only does this set the standard for how the people in my life love me naturally because they see how I love myself, but in finding a partner, if you can't top what I do, what are you doing here?
Oh.
How can you help me?
Oh. Hear that?
How?
When I mentioned the post that I posted and the reaction, I'm actually glad I didn't internalize it, like you said. I ended up getting a sponsorship opportunity for my housewarming. because of the engagement on the post. It was like, I want to say 100 and something shares. It was insane, especially because of the Bridgerton connection. It was one of my highest engagements, and we got our sponsorship we had 2 sponsorships for our housewarming. And I'm like, you see, like, what if I listen to this projection?
That's the perfect example of what showing up authentically can do.
Absolutely.
That's it. It's like, okay, all this noise, but whoever it was supposed to reach, it reached. And that's the point.
And I want girls and young women to know that, like, block out. People could hold you back from their opinions and projections because they're too afraid to do something that you're doing, and don't let that influence you. How can we tell girls and young women early on? Because I feel like I said, when we first started, soft life wasn't a thing when we were growing up. How could we kind of like advocate for them to start early with self-care and putting themselves first and prioritizing their peace?
I think I learned this much later in life. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So putting people's needs before my own was very normal, to the point where saying no felt like a violation.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so in learning about self-care and self-love and self-worth, as selfish as it sounds, your first priority always has to be yourself, because I can't help you if I have nothing to give, because I gave it to everyone else and I'm not giving it to myself. So I am always my first priority. After I feel full and I feel refreshed and I feel like I'm good in here, then I can give and I can show up for you in a way that is beneficial. But if I'm depleted, I can't show up for you in a way that's beneficial. I'm now harming myself. I'm harming my mental health, my capacity to overextend for you. And so I would say...
And it's never good enough.
No.
For anyone I notice, it's never good enough.
No, I would say take care of you first. You are the most important person. You are the one who's living in this body. This is your mind, and the things that are in it, you're listening to it all day. What you listen to, what you say about yourself should feed you in this body. It has to be beneficial to you, the things that you say and how you show up for yourself. So that leads into self-love. I spend a ridiculous amount of time alone, and I love it. It's not because
I was going to ask what if they want to know, what does that look like? Like, what could they do?
Gosh.
That's a good one.
I spend an insane amount of time by myself, and this goes into how I treat myself. Anything that I want to do, I do. I want to go to a park, I go to a park. I want to go to a Liberty game, I go to a Liberty game. I don't depend on anyone to make the things that I want happen in my life.
I love it.
I buy myself flowers every single week. Been doing that since 2019. I show up for myself. I date myself. I love myself. I spend time with myself. And if I'm choosing to spend time with you, it's because I care about you.
Yeah.
You know, again, time is very important. So how I spend it is important to me. It's very intentional.
Yeah.
And a lot of that goes into how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
People can tell that you treat yourself well by the way that you carry yourself.
Absolutely.
By the things you decide to participate in. All of that is important to me, because and it's not even about maintaining an image. It's about maintaining peace.
Yeah.
If it's not going to bring me peace, why am I there?
Yeah.
To make you happy?
Right.
And there's times where compromise is necessary, right? So there might be something that I really don't want to do, like go to a party. But if the person means something to me, I'll make that compromise.
But
right?
you're not overextending yourself.
I'm not,
just,
but yeah,
right.
But it's like I'll be there for an hour and a half.
Right.
Right? Like it still has
it's still prioritizing you.
Right.
Yeah. And your comfort and your peace.
Exactly. And that's the most important. And it sounds so selfish. And I initially thought that. But it's like, well, why am I living a life to preserve everyone else and not me?
And you know what? We're conditioned to feel this way from very young. Like you have to, down to like I was just saying yesterday to my siblings, like I had no choice. I had to take care of my siblings.
Right.
Like, so I'm conditioned to put like I was tired. I was a high schooler. Like I wanted to come home and get this homework done and relax. I didn't want all this extra responsibility,
Right.
but I was conditioned from very young to, you know, pour into the family and just take on that role right away. So then you grow up with this people
Right.
pleasing, putting other first mentality
Yeah.
until something clicks and you're like,
To your
no.
own detriment. Now you're
Right.
tired, you ran down, and your phone's still ringing because someone needs something. You feel like you need to answer it. You don't.
You don't. No
You do
more.
not.
It doesn't matter if it's friends, family,
Yeah.
partners. Like you, if you're not good, they're not good.
You're right.
I want to know for the young people too. So you said you see we're talking to them about self care and putting their self first, but with all this distraction in society today and like brainwashing, I don't think that young people even know what self is to put self first.
Right.
How do they gain any kind of self awareness in this atmosphere today?
That's such a good question. How do you gain sense of self?
Yeah.
I think
And maintain it.
you have to lose yourself first to regain. You know,
I believe that.
you have to get to a point where you realize this is no longer working for me. Some people get to that point and they still don't know what to do with that. But you get to the point where you say, this is no longer working for me. And then you choose differently.
Yeah.
And that could be your first no. But also a part of this for younger people, I say go inward a lot because that's important. And people don't know what that means. And that's just asking yourself all of the questions. Why do I feel this way? What's this emotion? And exploring those things. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I really don't feel like doing this.
Yeah.
And really exploring that.
I think so. I think, like you said, it took losing myself several times to know, not just to know, but also to embrace myself. And it
Right.
wasn't just losing myself, it was the bad decisions, it was the lessons, it was the no longer internalizing external opinions
Right.
and saying, this is me. I like me the way I am. I'm not a detriment to anybody or
Right.
the world. I am just doing my part and I'm
Yeah.
doing it the way that makes me feel good. And that's how I gain my self awareness. It's
Yeah.
like embracing that about myself and not letting anybody else dictate who I was going to be.
Yeah.
So I would tell young girls that, like, just embrace it. And for the last question, relationship. So I want to, in terms of like societal pressure and mental health, I want to be very candid when talking to girls and young women on the topic of relationship because you, like we said, we're conditioned to you got to do this by this time and get married and find this partner
Right.
and make sure they make money and they come from this, like, you know, all those things.
Right.
No one's really talking to us about what would make us happy when it comes to partnership and relationship. Like what makes you happy? Not all of these surface level
Right.
check off the boxes or looks good on paper things, like, but what really makes you happy? And for me, it's at this age now, I realize growing up, I didn't need to be in a relationship. I wasn't ready. It wasn't for me.
Right.
And I didn't know that until I got older. Like, I needed to just be meeting people and exploring and dating and learning myself through these people. I needed to do that, and letting outside opinions kind of, you know, influence me, forced me to be something that I didn't want to be. Like, I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be outside for decades. And like now I'm able to embrace that and be like,
Yeah.
okay, marriage at 20 was for you, but for me, I needed to be outside. Like, and there's nothing
Right.
wrong with that. As long as I was safe, I was healthy, you know, I wasn't out here harming anyone or messing up their lives. I needed to be outside. That was my path. That was my journey.
Right.
And that's what that looked like for me. Relationship needed to be later for me after the lessons and the growth and the maturity. And I want to be able to talk to young girls and women to just like release that pressure and that aspect of mental health and let people know, like, let people have the relationships that they desire, whether it's 2 people, 3 people, whatever you want to do, like mind your business and let them have it.
So I have had abandonment wounds. And so for me growing up, relationships were important because that's what I needed to feel loved. And
Same.
it was, but it was going through those relationships and addressing those wounds that got me to the point where I'm very, very okay with being single. And I just got out of a relationship. And I feel the freest that I've felt in a long time. And I think that this comes from, dating all the wrong people, so you get to learn more about yourself, but also like when I think about the person that I want long term, and this is me speaking as someone who's 41, right? So I've had a lot of experience to figure this out. So for someone younger, when I think about a long-term partnership, I don't necessarily believe in forever.
Okay.
I feel like people are seasons, and you have to learn how to detach when their time is up, when their season is up. This is why we have divorce. This is why, even if you're married for 50 years and your partner dies, you still live on. There's still opportunity for you to find someone else, right? That was there forever. You're forever, you still have time. So that's just me though. I also look at fundamental qualities and values. So like I'm monogamous. Are you monogamous?
Okay.
Right? I want children, or I want to have a family. Is that a goal of yours? I want to get married. I do not want to have children and I'm not married, specifically because I'm a lesbian. God forbid one of us has a kid and you die in that emergency room. If I were a man, that's my child, right? Sperm and DNA can confirm that. As a lesbian, I'm just a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, okay.
So legally, this binds us as a family. So do you want to get married? Do you believe in a higher power? I don't care if you call that higher power God or the universe or trees, or if you feel that God is in you, do you believe in a higher power? That's just a baseline. These are like values that I need long term. In addition to, are you a good person? Do you have a good heart? Are you good with money? I don't care about how much you make. Are you saving it?
Are you responsible, right?
Right. Are you financially responsible? Right. Because then that becomes something that I have to maneuver around. I don't have conversations about who's paying for what. I don't have those conversations. I do not insert myself in those conversations. I don't mind paying for anything.
Right.
It's about being on the same level.
And working as a team.
Exactly. And that's how I see things. So those things, I don't care if you're 6'5" or if you're 4'5", right? I don't care about that stuff. Are you healthy? Do you take care of yourself?
Hello.
Stuff like that. And it's not out of vanity. It's out of, if we're going to build a life together and your health, the responsibility that you have over your health, you're taking care of it so that we can have longevity. That's what I care about.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a like real values.
Alignment. It's the alignment conversation. And that's what we don't have enough of. And that I want to move away from this is how relationships should look and this is how you should go about it with girls and young women to alignment. What aligns with you? These are your personal desires.
Right.
Forget what anyone else is saying you should do or how you should have went about it.
Right.
And I say that because, I went about relationship very unorthodox, even down to my current relationship, very unorthodox, from being friends and dating each other's friends. And then now you have these opinions of, oh, that's not right. You guys date each other. But we're the most aligned. Our lifestyles are aligned. Our mindsets are align. Why should I give that up? Because in college I dated his best friend. Like, who the hell cares? Like, like, so what? This is alignment. This is my life. If I listen to you, I could go out somewhere with someone else that looks better for face value, and I'll be miserable for God knows how long.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I want to do
Yeah.
the way I want to do it, and I want to be able to teach younger people to do that same thing. Otherwise, you'll be out here miserable and projecting like these others.
I came across a TikTok this morning of this woman who she's saying she's on Hinge, and people are saying she's not connecting with people because her standards are too high. And she's naming her standards, and she's like, no BBLs, and if your gums are bigger than your teeth. And I'm like, bruh, those are your standards? Good. Like, good. Have fun with that, because you can miss out on an amazing person just because they got too many gummy teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You can miss out on your person because they're 2 inches shorter than what you want. Mm-hmm. And that's insane to me. When it comes to the type of women that I date, they all look different. And I have people who say, no, you definitely have a type. And I guess you can say that I do. But for the most part, physically, I could date someone that I'm not necessarily that attracted to initially. Mm-hmm. And that attraction grows because you're such a good person. You have a good heart. And it doesn't mean that physically I didn't, like you. I dated someone that I'm into fashion. I dated someone who I hated the way she dressed. I hated it. But you feel beautiful, and I think you're beautiful. So that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get hung up on that stuff, because at the end of the day, if we're going to be together, are you going to love me when all this shit is gone? I don't know if I could curse. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We're here for it all, the raw and uncut.
Yes.
Thank you, Marsha. I am so grateful for your authenticity. I want you to tell the people where they could find you, how you could support the ladies out there. And we're gonna get this out to the girls.
Okay, so I go by Introvert, the letter N, the city, Introvert in the City, and that's on Instagram and TikTok. I guess a little bit about me and like what you can support. I created affirmation decks. So I have an affirmation deck for adults, and then I have one for kids, and I have one for people in relationships. Really focusing on the importance of inner dialogue, how you talk to yourself. I also use the decks in the school system. So I go into the schools, and
the girls need it.
Yes,
they need it,
yes, emotional learning, how to go inward, how to just show up for yourself. So a lot of that self-love, self-worth talk. Mm-hmm. And then I like to say I'm a vibe curator. I put together panel discussions that impact our community. So I'm doing a little bit of everything, but that's how you can find me.
Thank you. And you all can find Good Intentions, Bad Decisions on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all your major platforms. Love letters to my younger self.
Thank you. Thank you so much.